World Series, the Yankees have forced Game 5 after an 11-4 win last night in the Bronx. The Dodgers up 3-1 in the best of 7. Anthony Volpe's third-inning grand slam overcame Freddie Freeman's record-setting home run. Freeman homered for his 6th consecutive series game, hitting a 2-run drive in the first. LA closed within 6-4 with a 2-run fifth that included Will Smith's homer off starter Luis Gil and an RBI grounder from Freeman. Austin Wells and Gleyber Torres added home runs for the Yankees, who broke the game open with a 5-run eighth. They had scored just 7 runs over the first 3 games. Game 5 is tonight. Yankees ace Garrett Cole gets to start. Jack Flaherty gets the ball for the Dodgers in a rematch of Game 1 starting pitchers. The Yankees win tonight forces Game 6. That'd be Friday in Los Angeles. Game 7, if necessary, Saturday in LA.
Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
Halloween's coming alive at Target. Jackie and Gordy, the Jack-O-Lanterns, here with last chance Halloween deals. Looks like Mom's got the old pumpkin bucket stocked with the best candy, starting at $5.99.
Lucky pumpkin bucket. Oh, there's Dad party planning with a same-day delivery order.
Yes, it's a BOGO 50% off pizza party with Target Circle. Plus, buy 3, save 40% on soda 12 packs with Target Circle.
Nice saves, Dad.
Make your Halloween come alive at Target. Need it last minute? Get same-day delivery with Target Circle 360. Restrictions apply.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Get sports gaming strategies and information 24 hours a day,
7 days a week.
Everything you need to get the winning edge right here.
No wonder the wife says you need to spend more time with the kids.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The only place in football where the offense is always on the field is on Moneyline. With the 2 best hosts in radio, Donnie Rightside.
If anybody wasn't watching, listen, I don't know what you were doing.
And Kevin Walsh.
Forget act like you've been there before.
On the SportsGrid Radio Network, Sirius XM Channel 159.
Yo! Right at it, the best hour of your day officially underway. It is a Wednesday right here edition of Moneyline. I'm Donnie Rightside, and I am on a solo mission, and I have a lot of hot topics to get to today. Whoa, it heats up. We're going to talk Bronny James and LeBron James in Cleveland tonight. We'll get to that. Little World Series action last night, what we saw out of the Bronx, how we were able to make some money on that game, and also another 50% odds boost from Bet365. You know I'm going to be getting down on. So once again, if you follow me on Twitter or X, fantastic. If you don't, you still can. At RightSideVP, one word, you know me. When I have a ticket, I'll put it out tonight when it's handicapped all the way through. I did go 2-0 yesterday, by the way. Hit my 50% boost on Bet365, which was fantastic. That was on my favorite parts of that game, which was from a Dodgers perspective, actually, on offense. We had Teoscar Hernandez to at least get a hit, run, or an RBI. Got that done. And also Mookie Betts, who doubled in the first inning to get that done. And also we had a home run in the first inning, which gave us the 2 runs. Just needed 1 more. So a total of 3 was needed for the Los Angeles Dodgers. They got that fairly early. So that was perfect. Then I had a Yankees edition of a ticket, which had Gleyber Torres, which had Juan Soto, each once again to get at least a run, hit, or an RBI. They both did that in the 8th inning, and the Yankees to get over 3.5 runs. It was fantastic yesterday. That one wasn't really a handicap, but it was a boost that they had only 30% on the FanDuel Sportsbook that I wanted to use. But I definitely put out my favorite one. It hit last night. We can all celebrate. We can all have fun. Welcome into the chat box. If you guys are watching on the YouTube channel, SportsGrid On Demand. Thanks for doing that here. Come to the chat box, say hello. My guy Mammoth's already out there chopping it up. You want to get in there, have some fun, share your bets, share your thoughts. Fantastic. If you're watching also, actually the only way to watch, would be on SportsGrid On Demand. But if you're listening, sportsgridradio.com, sportsgrid.com, and also SiriusXM Channel 159. Thank you for all your support. We love it. And that's how we get down. Now, the hot topics, let's get through them. Let's start with what happened last night in the Bronx. Did anybody lose their mind early in that game when they Gleyber Torres pop fly down the right field line went into the stands? Mookie Betts, like so many Major League Baseball players do, reaches their glove over the fence, whap, grabs it. Yep, put that one away. That's an out. Only to see Anthony, whatever his name is, from, I'm assuming, New York City, the Bronx, Manhattan, the whole New York City. Where was he from? Queens? Did he live down the street from Kevin growing up in Queens? Grabs the glove of Mookie Betts, pries it open, the ball flings out. Now, of course, it was going to be fan interference. Those players on the field deserve better than that. But the fans ejected from the game, those two fans probably will be back today because it's apparent that I think that said that they are season ticket holders. How much camera time will they be getting tonight? And will a cop be standing right next to them the entire game in case there is another foul ball? Now, you know how this goes. We know how the world works. We know how karma works, right? They're going to be allowed back in that stadium tonight. What are the odds a foul ball gets close to those two gentlemen again tonight? You know that's happening. 1,000%. It's amazing that you do something like that and are allowed back in the next night. Oh, they're season ticket holders. They're paying a lot of money for this. Come on, that doesn't get you to do that. Stop it. Just because you're a season ticket holder doesn't mean you come back the next day. I could see if you interfered with the play where you reached over and grabbed the baseball, or it was a foul ball down the line and Mookie Betts came over and you reached up and you hit the ball before it went into his glove. Fans do that all the time. Just about every game you're watching, because fans want to get as close to the action as they can. And if a baseball is near them, they're going to reach out and try to get that. Just like Jeffrey Mayer back in the 1990s against the Baltimore Orioles, where he reached over the fence in right field, brought that home run, which was an out, into the stands. No replay, home run called, terrible choice. But ever since that day, that kid probably doesn't pay for a drink in New York City once you figure out who he is. But you can't have that in a Major League Baseball game. But I did get a chuckle out of it at that point. It didn't interrupt the game, but Mookie Betts certainly was angry. And at least Mookie Betts did have some restraint. He fires a couple left hooks into the crowd, and away we go, and it's a melee. So it could have been much worse for Major League Baseball, but it turns out it wasn't worse for them, and it's no big deal at this point. But the Yankees pick up the victory yesterday. They played 11 runs against the Dodgers. And how about if you were watching that game? Freddie Freeman is absolutely on another planet right now, guys. First inning, he hits another home run, a 2-run jack, which you thought right off the bat was a wrap and the Dodgers going to move on. Now, for me, I'm not a Yankees fan. I'm not a Dodgers fan. You guys know I'm a Phillies fan. But from a content perspective, it's great to have another game of the World Series. But from a betting perspective, even better. This is one of the more enjoyable World Series. And I came into that game on my, odds boost or profit boost parlays, 0-2 on my last two in the World Series. It's tough to pick out World Series games. It is. But I just still see some of the advantages that you can take. And I do have some advantages tonight that we're going to take care of. So, again, if I have a ticket, which 1,000% I will, follow me at RightSideVP on Twitter/X. You'll see that ticket. You can back it. You can fade it. You can have some fun. You can comment. You can do all that stuff. But I was happy with the Yankees' 11-4 victory yesterday because you just felt like 2-0 in that first inning, it was already over for the New York Yankees. Question, they battle back fantastic. And maybe the biggest hit of the postseason for the New York Yankees, Anthony Volpe's grand slam with 2 outs. If he, I believe, makes an out in that plate appearance, I'm not so sure the Yankees score the rest of the way. I really don't. Because you would have everybody trying extra hard at the plate to overcome what a terrible series most of those players are having. I just felt like the Yankees lineup was able to take a deep breath after that home run and say, okay, we can score. We got the lead. We're back in this game. We can win this game. Who knows what's going to happen in game 5, but you can't get to game 5, 6, or 7 unless you get through game number 4. Yankees pick up the victory. The Yankees who have Garrett Cole back on the mound tonight, which is fantastic. He was sensational in game number 1. They should have won game number 1. Nestor Cortez never should have been in the game to face Freddie Freeman, and a grand slam happens on, I believe that was Friday night. Was it Friday night? Friday, Monday? Yeah, I believe it was Friday night. Terrible start. The Yankees should have had a 1-0 series lead. The Yankees should have been 2-2 in this series, and the Yankees should be trying to go up 3-2, but they're not. They're down 0-3 last night, now down 3-1. What are the thought processes from you guys out there? Is there a chance that the Yankees can come back and make this a series? I do. And what I mean by making it a series is not get to game 7. and not win it in Game 7, which would be outrageous if they did that. But just getting back in the series, meaning Garrett Cole's on the mound tonight, they can push it to game number 6, which I would love to see on a Friday night. We deserve that, don't we? Fans deserve that. Again, if you're betting the Dodgers, you have a Dodgers ticket, I get it. You don't want to see that. But for me, just another day that I can analyze, because tonight I'm probably going to be attacking much more props from a Yankees perspective than I am going up against a Dodgers perspective. Jack Flaherty's a decent pitcher. He's not as good as Garrett Cole. We know that. That's a fact. Also, you take a look at some of those statistics, which we'll go over probably later in the show, of why we like to fade Jack Flaherty. Not so great against right-handed hitters. Maybe Aaron Judge waking up a little bit, had a walk last night, had an RBI, had a base knock, finally showing some signs of life. Giancarlo Stanton, he can run into one. And also, the temperatures here on the East Coast. For October the 30th, to have 65 degrees and a light wind blowing out the left field with no precipitation, that is phenomenal. And by the way, on the East Coast tomorrow, it is Halloween. 80-plus degrees over here for us. Love to see that. Now, I'm not trick-or-treating. I won't be home for the trick-or-treaters. I'll be on my way up to North Jersey and to the studios to do Pro Football Today live tomorrow night. But it is nice to have those temperatures. It does dip down a little bit this weekend, but the boys will be back in L.A. if they can win tonight in the Bronx. So many great things to talk about on the show today. Donnie Rightside, it's Moneyline, it's SiriusXM Channel 159. We got an hour to get it all out there. More hot topics next. Yeah, we're talking about you, LeBron James, next.
It's a choice.
Roll the dice
Or listen to us. Luck is finding a good parking spot. Strategy is getting the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
A U.S. bankruptcy judge approved a sale of Tupperware brands on Tuesday, paving the way for the iconic food storage company to soon exit Chapter 11 protection and continue offering its products while undergoing a hope for revitalization. The sale, given the court's green light in Delaware, still is subject to closing conditions. Under terms of the deal, a group of lenders is buying Tupperware's brand name and various operating assets for $23.5 million in cash and more than $63 million in debt relief. Kentucky's startup medical cannabis program should be positioned to ramp up quickly, but having products available for some patients at the outset will be a challenge, according to Governor Andy Beshear. Beshear's administration took a big step forward Monday when a state-run lottery selected 26 applicants for cultivation and processor licenses. Those growers and processors will be issued medical cannabis licenses after paying their license fee within 15 days. The state's medical cannabis program begins January 1st. I'm Trey Westerberg with the SportsGrid News Flash.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, to check you have a full tank of gas first before road tripping through the desert.
Empty? Seriously? Maybe I can walk.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Maybe I can't.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates.
Here's some brutal truth.
You can listen to SportsGrid for strategies, odds, and more and live the good life. Or you can dig out the change from your sofa cushions.
Ooh, sticky.
We told you it was brutal. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
It's time to have some fun, people. Scoutbox is having fun. Akbar shows up. Abbott's in there. You know I'm in there. SportsGrid On Demand on YouTube. Click the subscribe button, get in here. Every day I see more people hitting that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. It's a great way to join the radio shows and be a part of the show. Because you guys know me. I love the shout-outs. Like, I love to see people in their chat. I love to see people contacting me on Twitter. I love to get back to the people. It's interactive. That's what you like. How many times do you sit there screaming in your car about a point you wanted to make, but you can't really get through to the host? Well, that's the best way to get through to the host right there is get on SportsGrid On Demand or just hit me up on Twitter at RightSideVP. Simple, easy to do, a lot of fun. Be interactive with us. All right, you ready for the fun now? Because we are going to start. We'll start to look at some NFL topics a little bit later in the show. We'll get back to that Major League Baseball game. We'll pick out some hitters that make some sense, some props that we're looking at, and we'll take a look at all the odds boost across the board that we might be able to chime into and have fun for tonight. But before we get there, I wish Kevin was on because we'd be able to go back and forth on this, and I would win the argument because I always win the arguments. It's about factual people. I like to look at every single sports landscape through my eyes as the common sportsman. What makes sense? What doesn't make sense? Is it a hot take? Is it a bad take? Is it a fraudulent take? Los Angeles Lakers tonight are going to go to take on the Cleveland Cavaliers in Cleveland. Line opened up at 3.5 at FanDuel, now sits at 4.5 at most outlets across the board. Los Angeles Lakers versus the Cavaliers total tonight opened up at 226.5, now sits at 225.5, primarily across the board there. Now, let's get to the news, let's get to the notes, and what we're actually talking about this game. Not the fact that the Cleveland Cavaliers are 4-0 in the season to open up, which is very good. Not the fact that the Los Angeles Lakers are 3-1. The focus of this game is not about the competition on the court. It's about what's actually taking place, quote unquote, off the court, and for a few minutes, possibly on the court. We're not looking at LeBron James, points, rebounds, and assists tonight. We're looking at Bronny James, and if he does play tonight, and the farce that's going on from the Los Angeles Lakers, particularly from LeBron James and his family. And I do start this conversation by saying this. Here's the issue that I have. For the family itself, LeBron James, he's got to be through the moon. It's got to be unbelievable. For the mom, for the sons, the daughters, for the whole LeBron James family, it's got to be wonderful. It's, I guess, the level up as if you were getting married. We're like, hey, man, videographer's going to be there. Pictures will be taken. A lot of guests that are going to show up. Everybody's celebrating my family here. But to the outside world, we all see through this sham of what's taking place. And I was okay with, Bronny James getting drafted by the Lakers, even though nobody was going to draft him. He's not an NBA player. But LeBron James means so much to the Los Angeles Lakers. He can walk into Jeannie Buss's office and say at any time what he wants to happen. And in the grand scheme of things, if the Lakers were to pick anybody else late in the second round, they probably wouldn't have done anything anyway. They'd be immediately removed to the G League, and nobody would care about it. It wasn't as if LeBron James said, I have a mandate, and if we have a first-round draft pick, it's got to be my son. But we knew that his son was only going to get drafted by the Los Angeles Lakers, and that it picked a waste late in that second round, and they used it on Bronny. I was okay with that. No big deal. Dad pulled the strings, but in the grand scheme of things, once again, it's not like you were drafting Bronny James over Victor Wembanyama if he was on the board, right? So that wasn't a big deal. So we saw going through the whole offseason and what was going to take place. Bronny's playing with there. He couldn't play like he was terrible in the summer leagues. Absolutely atrocious. But you don't think about it. Again, it's still a second-round pick. And you knew what was coming up here in the game that they opened up at home. There was going to be a photo op opportunity. They were home. Let's just get this out of the way. I don't know what Bronny James is going to be in the NBA, but let me have this night for myself, my son, and my family. So coming into the second quarter, he checks into the game, plays a couple minutes, photo opportunities, legendary status was made, hung around long enough to see my son play in the NBA. I was even okay with it. Then the news comes out that goes, hey, you know what? After this next road trip, we're going to banish Bronny James into the G League because he's got to play. He's got to try to get better. And we completely agree with that. But the fact of the matter is, Bronny didn't play at all any other game outside of opening day. And now we're going to go to Cleveland as if it's a big story there. He's going to play again for another photo opportunity. And then he's going to get banished to the G League here. If you are LeBron James, again, it just feels like superstars sometimes are just encapsulated in their own market. And maybe some people out there think it's a really cool story. But for me, I call out these phony stories left and right. And a lot of people will be on my side. Some people, oh, Donnie, you're just being a hater. I'm not hating on the moment for the LeBron James family. It's an awesome moment for them. But for the rest of the NBA, the rest of the fan bases, we see what this sham actually is. It's just a photo op. And I joked earlier on today when I was talking about with Dubsy on the early line. Why not just go ahead and exchange jerseys? Have them come into the game, have Adam Silver come back to Cleveland and say what an unbelievable moment it is. And LeBron James signs his jersey, takes it off, gives it to his son. Bronny James signs his jersey, gives it to his father. You take the pictures like NFL players do after games in the NFL. Why not just go full twisted with the mockery of it here? Organic sports moments are what we live for, what we cheer on, what we buy into, and what we're so passionate talking about at this job. But this also goes the opposite way because I shouldn't be talking about a Lakers-Cleveland game on October the 30th. I don't give a damn about that game. Like, I'll watch some NBA, and I'll bet some NBA if there's odds boosts out there, but I don't care about the NBA until football season is over. And neither do the Philadelphia 76ers with Joel Embiid and, also other things like that. But that's besides the issue. But from a true fan perspective, everybody should feel disrespected by what the Los Angeles Lakers are doing for photo opportunities for the LeBron James family. Never should have been drafted. Never should have been an NBA player. And I said it even before. Never should have been a McDonald's All-American. Placed at USC. He was horrendous for USC. Couldn't even crack the starting lineup on a team that couldn't make the tournament. Just think about that. And then gets drafted into the NBA just because there's no place in the NBA for a 6'2 guard who can't play defense. Don't tell me he can play defense. And can't score, can't dribble, and can't shoot. You know where that place is? On the Lakers, because my dad plays on the Lakers here. Understand this. If LeBron James demanded midseason, I got to get to the Orlando Magic because I think they're the next step in me trying to win a championship. The very next day, Bronny James will be cut from the Los Angeles Lakers and never heard from again. Enough of this whack story. Let's get to the real topics. Coming up next, right here on Moneyline.
Get the SportsGrid mobile app. Take us to places where the wife would definitely not approve.
Not counting the bank.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The SportsGrid Radio Network presents This Date in Sports History.
This is an awesome power of George Foreman against the violent boxing skills of Muhammad Ali.
1974, the Rumble in the Jungle. Muhammad Ali KOs George Foreman in the 8th round in Zaire, Africa.
Muhammad Ali has done it. The great man has done it. I told you today, I'm still the greatest of all time.
For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
Researchers at the University of Science and Technology of China have developed a soft robotic medical finger that can be used clinically to check your pulse, perform examinations, and even check for abnormalities under the skin. This robotic finger can even type like a human hand, spelling out words.
Goosebumps.
The goal, an intelligent, dexterous hand attached to a sensorized, artificial, pneumatic, muscle-driven robotic arm, mimicking the unparalleled functions and fine manipulations currently only possible with actual human hands. Follow me at G Capalbo on X and stay tuned to The Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
Sports Rage tonight.
Brian Gable just screwed me because I got the Giants +7. And I was like, oh, this is great. All right, you know what? I can hit the teaser and get a push on my 7. I would have been happy with the teaser split. Instead, Cam, he decides to go for 2 because he's a moron. He's not the only one that does that. It's always losing crap-ass teams that think like that.
It's Sports Rage tonight with Gabe Morency. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific. On the SportsGrid Radio Network. Don't be that guy.
You know the kind.
They're superstitious, carry good luck charms, and have extravagant rituals to win. There's an easier way.
Listen to us. It means carrying 4-leaf clovers everywhere.
Get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Return of the Mac, baby. You know what that Mac is tonight? It's Garrett Cole, New York Yankees, taking the mound. Chat box popping off here. Thanks for tuning in. SportsGrid On Demand on YouTube. A lot of guys in that chat box. IOD. X-Man. Allen. Who else is out there? Of course, Akbar's in there. Scroll up again. And JP, the producer's in there. Mammoth's in there. Man of the People's talking today. It's your boy DRS, fired up, ready for Halloween tomorrow. By the way, I do want to talk about this baseball game. But Halloween is tomorrow. I work Halloween. Thursday Night Football, I won't be home. Wife's going to have to give out candy. Halloween was the greatest growing up, wasn't it? And you play in those costumes for weeks at a time. You stayed out all night just to get that pillowcase full of candy. And you people out there know what I'm talking about with the pillowcase. Like no little plastic bag. You went hard out there on October 31st. You really did. The minute you got out of school, you sprinted home. You got into your outfit, or maybe you even already in your outfit from school and starting on the way home. I used to walk home. We didn't have a busing district. Going door to door, meeting up with the fellas, staying out there. What was usually the cutoff, right? Get home around 3:30, 8-ish. You know what I mean? So you had a good 4.5 hours to really get after it and put away as much candy as you could. You knew which houses gave out the good candy. You knew which houses gave out the bad candy. But it was a lot of fun. But also, nationally, I don't know. I'm assuming it's the same. Like, I grew up in New Jersey, southern New Jersey. The day before, which is today, was called Mischief Night in southern New Jersey. As I went to school in northern New Jersey, they called it a lot of different things, like Goosey Night, Cabbage Night, all foreign to me. Sounds wild, doesn't it? But anybody out there, did you have like a Mischief Night? Because it doesn't seem like, at least in my area, that Mischief Night is a thing anymore. Now, what we used to do on Mischief Night is, as your 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, you get some eggs, you get some shaving cream, you got some toilet paper, you got some soap, and you just go down the street and do what dumb kids do. Throw some eggs, more at each other than maybe houses. Soaped up some cars. You went to your friend's house if you had a car, soaped it up, wrote on it, toilet paper at somebody's house. Like, that's just the way it went down. Anybody else have that? Or is that just like a New Jersey thing? Again, we call it Mischief Night, the day before, but it no longer happens in my neighborhood. And thank goodness it doesn't, because, by the way, as a homeowner now, as I'm older, and you come around my house and toilet paper that thing, you rocket eggs off my house, I'm going to have an issue with it. You don't look that. You don't even think about that as like a young teenager. You're just out there being a menace. Shaving cream up, drawing funny pictures all over the place, knocking on doors, running away. We did that all the time. Akbar says after COVID, Halloween was not the same anymore. And he's like, Halloween was awesome. Yeah, Halloween was awesome. That candy would last for weeks, too. And what was the best part about it? You get home, you'd empty that pillowcase on the table, and you'd start to sort the candy out, right? And there were some devious people out there back in the day, because I don't even know if this goes through now, but I guess it does. Like, parents would always inspect your candy, because, putting pins in candy and glass in candy and tainting the candy. I even remember where it was, I don't know if it was the local hospital, which was actually right up the street from my house. But they would take x-rays of your candy if you brought it in, just to make sure there's no metal objects. Like, what? Who is the people putting metal objects in people's candy out there as kids? What kind of nonsense is that? My goodness. Oh, those were the days. And by the way, when did you stop trick-or-treating? I want to say high school, to be honest. But I can't put it past me as a freshman. I didn't go trick-or-treating. But after that, no. Like sophomore, junior, senior, I didn't do that. Is anybody out there listening that you went trick-or-treating well into your high school years? That can't be, right? Like, the candy wasn't worth it at that point. You just drive around the corner store and get some of that stuff. But I think I gave it up around, I think maybe freshman year was the last year I might have done it. And I'm not even so sure I did that. Definitely 8th grade. But usually high school, we tend to stop doing that. But it is what it is. This brings up the good times here, right? Football season underway. I was playing football, obviously, at high school. I don't know if I did it my freshman year. I want to say I might have. Or maybe it was like in the early years of high school, maybe Halloween fell on like a Friday or a Saturday or something, right? Then maybe you don't have any excuse. Like, by the way, Halloween on a Sunday, it had to happen sometimes, right? Just weird. Absolutely weird at this point. Now you have mandatory days. It's all whack at this point now. It was great. 80s kids, 90s kids, you understand what it was. Let's get to the baseball next. Dodgers, Yankees. Let's pick out some winners. Let's get to it. It's Moneyline right here on the grid.
Attitude is everything.
Don't say I lost today.
Say I gained powerful insight into why I need to pay attention to SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Progressive presents the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
World Series, the Yankees have forced Game 5 after an 11-4 win last night in the Bronx. The Dodgers up 3-1 in the best of 7. Anthony Volpe's 30-inning grand slam overcame Freddie Freeman's record-setting home run. Freeman homered for his 6th consecutive series game, hitting a 2-run drive in the first. LA closed within 6-4 with a 2-run fifth that included Will Smith's homer off starter Luis Gil and an RBI grounder from Freeman. Austin Wells and Gleyber Torres added home runs for the Yankees, who broke the game open with a 5-run eighth. They had scored just 7 runs over the first 3 games. Game 5 is tonight. Yankees ace Garrett Cole gets the start. Jack Flaherty gets the ball for the Dodgers in a rematch of Game 1 starting pitchers. The Yankees win tonight forces Game 6. That'd be Friday in Los Angeles. Game 7, if necessary, Saturday in LA.
Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Fabric Talk.
Hello, my love. I am your living room carpet. I see everything. I feel everything. After a while, I smell like everything, including Sir Pickles, who you snuggle with while binging that dating show you can't stop watching. So, how about we freshen things up with Febreze Fabric Spray? Oh, and a big spray for my pals, couch and ottoman. Ah, yes, refreshing. Breathe happy, Febreze. La 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 la.
Before your very eyes.
The boys of summer are about to become the champions of fall.
MLB playoffs are coming.
And SportsGrid will bring you all the angles, strategies, and info.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Wu-Tang Clan. Perfect way to get in here. Machine Gun Rap. Yeah. Garrett Cole tonight. Machine Gun Kelly on the mound. By the way, who's going to come out tonight and... We're going to get any music before the game? You had Fat Joe the other night. Did you have any? What did you say? Fat Joe was what? Game 3. I don't know. I didn't watch pregame, but I think Ashanti sang the national anthem. So I guess we don't have any more musical entrees, per se, for that game. Ice Cube was awesome. Loved Ice Cube growing up. So many bangers he put out. Just to see him in the Dodgers getup out there at Dodger Stadium. Cool backdrop, great songs. Even the Yankees were bobbing to it as he was dissing them. Fantastic. Fat Joe, that doesn't hit. By the way, did anybody ever like Fat Joe as well? Okay for me. Look, again, I was a hip-hop kid in the 90s. Like, I was in school mid to late 1990s in North Jersey. Hot 97. I heard Fat Joe a lot. Okay. But that was your go-to in game number 3 to get your boys back into the series was Fat Joe, or did everybody turn it down? So we were talking about who could actually do it on early line. You know, Diddy's New York City and Bad Boy, but he's kind of tied up with other things. Nace, thought he might have been a decent one. He's got a good podcast now. Cameron's on his podcast with him. Maybe the Diplomats come out there. Who would have been? Like, if you're in the chat box right now, you guys are listening. New York City. Is it Jay-Z? Who else is it? Let's see. Nas? Nas would be great. Nas is fantastic. The only question is, the fans in the Yankee Stadium know who Nas would be if he comes out. Did they even know who Fat Joe was when he came out? Honestly. Like, who would represent New York City? Like, you going way back? Like, Biz Marquis passed away. That would have been, by the way, if Biz never passed away, would have been fantastic if he came out there. You rolling out Dougie Fresh? Leave that message out there in the chat box for me here. SportsGrid On Demand, YouTube. Who are you rolling out there? X-Man says Wu-Tang, Jay-Z. Yeah, 52. Yeah, it's true. 50 Cent would have been a good one coming out there. Yeah, you want to be like locally generated. Obviously, Biggie was around today. Man, can you imagine this? Like, I don't know how old Biggie Smalls would have been at this time. What he died? Let's go back to, he died in 1996. Or wait, was it early 97? Maybe early 97. Big passed away. What would we say, young 20s? About 20 years. So what, 50s? Early 50s for Big? Oh, man, he would have been killing it out there.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Whoa.
Whoa!
I heard you needed New York representation.
Yeah, let me get a visual here. There we go. Look at that. Kev's got I don't know if he's chiming in on Bronny getting flamed here and was a section late, or chiming in on Kevin Walsh here, getting the take on New York City. But you see your boy last night cooking in Major League Baseball, cooking again, another 50% tonight. We're in it again. Loved everything I saw from that Yankees game last night. Loved it.
Which is awesome. Honestly, Donnie, yesterday, it's so funny, but the Anthony Richardson topic hits, right?
Yes.
And I truly was very surprised by your opinion on it. I'm being, hold on. We'll get to it. I'm like, man, I should jump on Moneyline with Donnie tomorrow. We'll just talk about it. Be a good time, right? Like, I don't have to run anywhere just yet.
Yeah.
So I checked the timeline, though. I go, let me see if he went like a load of tweets or just the one.
Yeah.
And then I saw the Bronny tweet, and I went,
yeah,
all right, I'm gonna have to pull up on Donnie tomorrow, because now I got some problems here. Now I'm not liking what I'm seeing. Now he's taking advantage of me being off, and I'm not too pleased. I'm not too pleased, Donnie.
Now,
what happened?
Organic. You need to be organic. Let's start with number one. Now, let's start with the Bronny thing. You actually wouldn't have got, Kevin, a peep out of me. And I think the Lakers are foolish for doing this. Opening night, you knew you were going to get that moment with Bronny and his son. And it was almost like, and I had the whole preamble on the show, and I thought that was okay because you knew it was coming. The Lakers knew it was coming. Don't put him in the starting lineup. Don't put him in with 8 seconds to go. Put him in a meaningful part of the game where even if he doesn't play well or if it's only 2 minutes, it's not a big deal, and you knew that moment was coming.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, why didn't they at least play him for 1 or 2 minutes over the past couple games, just knowing they're going to have that moment in Cleveland again, and maybe it doesn't look as staged? Why bury him on the bench only to bring him back out in Cleveland? Like, why would you do that?
Yeah, I think it's odd, right? Because the first moment they did was just so they could do it, right?
Yes.
And everybody kind of understood. Some people were angry. Clearly, though, they looked at the schedule and they were like, hey, listen, if we could just wait the first 10 games and then we can do this thing in Cleveland as well. And I understand why you're like, come on. But it's not some big reveal, Donnie, right? Like, I think we all know the score. They believe he'll be better suited off in the G League. You believe he'll be better suited off in the G League. But this is a once-in-a-lifetime moment. That's the reality of it. And opening night was opening night. And Donnie, if they were going back to Cleveland for game 45 and they kept him on the roster all the way until then, that would be crazy. It's going to be their 5th game tonight. And
yeah, but they would have brought him back, though. If it was game 45 and he only played game 1, they would have brought him back just for game 45. They would have done the same thing.
No, they probably would have, right? But what I'm saying is it would have felt even crazier. I guess my point is, Donnie, is he hasn't got in, neither has Jalen Hood-Schifino, who's one of the worst draft picks in the history of basketball. Can you believe they took this kid 17? Like, it's just one of those things to me where I don't know why we're still doing the up in arms stuff about Bronny. Now, it's pretty simple, DRS. He's LeBron's son, and they're going to give him a moment on opening night, and they're going to give him a moment in Cleveland.
That he didn't deserve.
And then we'll go from there. I don't agree with that, though. See, to be honest with you, Donnie, you're kind of on the idea of what Bronny deserves. The reality is these are LeBron things. This is what LeBron has earned in the eyes of the organization and fan base and league and team.
That's the problem. That's like if you could go back and let's just say, Kevin, it was different, right? And I know it's very rare in sports, but Ken Griffey Sr., who was a very good Major League Baseball player, his son was a phenom coming up.
No doubt.
And we didn't have social media in that day and age. But if you would have brought that same thing around, like let's just say you had who's an old Justin Verlander, right?
Mm-hmm.
In his 40s, legitimately could have a 19-year-old son. And it's like, this kid is like Bryce Harper, and he's coming up right now. You'd be like, wow, the dad's pitching, the son's playing center field. Like, that's a moment. But more of deserved. And again, I even preface it by saying, even though Bronny placed this kid everywhere, he's in the NBA, he's going to play opening night. It's just the way it is. But I just see now, like, we're not going to, and I think a lot of things could have been avoided because we know Bronny's going to the G League. And it would have changed my mind, even though I knew it was a farce, where J.J. Redick goes, it's not going to be any difference in the grand scheme of things. Let me play him for 2 minutes every second quarter till we get to Cleveland, and then he goes away. Because at least in my mind, I would say, well, I think I know what's going on, but Bronny's actually logging some minutes. The fact he came in just for a photo op, never played again, is going to get one more photo op, and we might never see him in the NBA again.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think you will. I think, Donnie, though, if they would have done it the other way, then the complaints would have been, can you believe LeBron's making them play his son? Like, and then that's what we would have done there. Now, the thing is, I know sometimes when you can get your claws into a topic, so I say I'm surprised, but for whatever reason, you're going to do the Bronny thing until he's gone. I genuinely cannot believe your opinion on the Anthony Richardson situation.
Yes. Yeah, it's good.
Legitimately cannot believe it.
I'd like Shane
It doesn't
Steichen
make
just
any sense to me.
He moved up 8 pegs. I actually think Shane Steichen went into the owner's office and says, I know how much you love this guy. I won't coach anymore if he's the quarterback. He can't read defenses. He doesn't practice hard. He gets in the games. He wants to be checked out. He completes 10% of his passes. I'm out of here at this point. Like, I have sometimes a different outlook on what I'm expecting, because usually for me, it's like, all right, it's a young team. It's not good. Like Bryce Young on Carolina, Kevin. He should be playing every game. That team is going nowhere. They stink, and you're saying, all right, if he plays, at least he's getting his reads. Now, I actually think now where it sits with the Texans getting banged up a little bit up top, when I say up top, the wide receiving core, they can win the division. Like the Colts can win the division. Not with Anthony Richardson, they can't. I love this move. You're playing to win right now, and you owe it to that locker room from a quarterback that is destroying your offense. We'll be right back. It's Moneyline on a Wednesday with Kevin.
Yeah, it's getting cooler.
Football weather is here.
Stay tuned for all the latest odds, strategies, and info. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Progressive presents the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
NFL is Thursday night. The 6-2 Texans visit the 2-6 Jets. Texans wide receiver Stephon Diggs out for the season with a torn ACL. Houston coach DeMeco Ryans.
It's all the same. Nobody has to do anything extra. Like Joe still just has to be Joe. Nobody has to do anything extra. It's just everybody has to continue to do their job, do their part to help our team, be successful. And that's just about every guy going out, executing, and playing to the best of their ability. That's all I ever ask of our guys.
World Series, the Yankees have forced Game 5 after an 11-4 win last night in the Bronx. The Dodgers up 3-1 in the best of 7. Anthony Volpe's 30-inning grand slam overcame Freddie Freeman's record-setting home run.
Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
Smoothie bar, asking people if they'd switch smoothies with me for $574.
Oh, I'll switch.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
That's a headache.
Nope, it's painless.
Oh, so it's easy money.
Yep, check Allstate first and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double hot, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Hey, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Well, I do now.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
Did you say you're cutting me off?
You earn, we match. Unlimited cashback match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
There once was a dude named Sid. He never won and felt disgusted. He got the winning edge, his friends would allege, all for just listening to SportsGrid. If Sid can do it,
so can you.
Get the winning edge.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Domantas Sabonis, you're dead to me, kid. Why? Just needed 5 assists last night. I just needed 5 assists, Domantas. You're listening right now? You had 4 at the break. You finished with 4. You get 5. I hit a parlay. The NBA betting to me is so frustrating and so much fun, if that makes sense at the same time, where nothing is ever a given. Things you think should happen. Like, I went to DraftKings yesterday, Kevin, and I've been taking the King of the Court boost every night. So last night I go, all right, let me just dumb it down and see if I can win, because I was telling Kevin over the break, my goal is every time I'm getting bonus money, everything goes on the Detroit Lions. I think I have 7 or 8 bets on the Detroit Lions to win the NFC. And every time I get a bonus bet, only bonuses though, they're going to keep going on him. So I take who was it? Not Monk. The Golden State Warriors.
Herder. Oh,
no,
Hield.
Buddy Hield. Yes, it's slipping my mind. I dumbed it down from the over 3.5 3-point shots. I mean, I think he hit 7 last night as a total.
He did.
But I look at that and I say to myself, let me take it. And then I wake up, he hit 7. Like, why don't you just go the other way? Like, give me 6 or 7 and hit the higher number. But that's beyond the point. But then I have other guys. Like, it's like, hey, I need Clay to make, I don't know, 3 or something like that. Ends at 2. I have another guy who needs to hit 1, can't hit it. But last night, the one that got on my nerves, really got on my nerves, was Domantas Sabonis. Because those are the ones where I'm laying down, I'm like, all right, I needed 10 rebounds or more. He got 11. But he had 9 at the break. I'm like, I'm probably going to get this. He has 4 assists at the break, and he averages like 7 a game. So I'm like, oh, that should be an easy one. When I woke up this morning, so I had 4 assists, lost my mind, lost it.
Yeah, no, I had a parlay. Now, it wouldn't have mattered because like a Draymond leg loss for a no sweat, but like I put Luka to get 2 threes in it as like a let's not even think about this twice. And then obviously Luka did not. I mean, he made 1 3 with like 10 seconds left. It felt like there. All right, let me bring up the Richardson thing. Then I got to go Costco run. They do the trick-or-treating on a Wednesday, apparently, Donnie.
Yes, no, I was, before we went to the break, I was saying like that. It's like, back in the day, it was whatever the day rolled on. Sunday, wild. Monday, weird. Thursday, okay, you deal with it. Friday, unbelievably crazy, fantastic. But yes, now we have towns that are like, you don't even go to the house of some of these places. It's like trunk or treat. Everybody bring your car and you walk around a big circle. Wild.
Whoa.
Yeah,
that's
wild
weird.
These days.
But I don't understand why a Wednesday's better than a Thursday. Like, that I'm not following.
No, I don't care. No, I was just using that as like a day.
No,
like
but
Friday's
my point is like
off.
apparently they're doing it today.
Yeah.
As opposed to tomorrow. I understand if they're like, we don't want to do it on a X day. How would it be more? Why are they doing it today? Like, I'm not. I don't really understand that. All right, Richardson.
The rules are wrong. Go ahead.
So I know the premise for you is that Flacco is better than Richardson, and that, Donnie, I am totally fine with.
Yes.
Right. But I know that there have been times where we've talked about what is best for a football team's future.
Correct.
And the Colts have only seen 10 starts for Richardson. Donnie, he's left 3 games injured early. He has played 7 complete NFL games in his career. A kid they drafted in the top 5.
Yes.
I do not think it is fair to go, boom, done, he'll never figure it out. If you look, Donnie, at Josh Allen's first season in Buffalo, he was terrible, right? Like, I'm sure you remember the very beginning of Josh Allen's career in Buffalo.
Ryan Dable saved his life.
100%. And you and I both think the world of Shane Steichen. Now, I am sure Steichen has a hand in this. Maybe everybody is just furious that this kid tapped his head and said, I was tired, though that's a whole nother thing for another time. I really, Donnie, feel that this is one of the more insanely short-sighted moves a team's going to make, because I don't think you can tell me in 7 games there's no way this kid figures it out when we're breaking down Sam Darnold and Geno Smith and all these other guys that have been a part of the circle. Why do the Indianapolis Colts need to cut bait 10 games into this kid's career?
Now, they say they're not giving up on him, which I don't know if that's going to be the case or not. But hear me out on this, too. And we didn't get a chance to fairly evaluate the guy in game-time situations. When he was in the game, he can't complete passes. They think they can win the division, and to save the locker room, they think they can go to him. That's only half the story, Kevin. You know what we're probably not hearing about, though? Like, again, unbelievable where a quarterback – look, I was never the athlete, obviously Anthony Richardson was. But I always remember, like, the head coach would tell me, Donnie, if you are tired, hit your helmet, we'll get you a sub. Like, because I didn't come out. Like, we had 2 wide receiver sets, an X and a Y. I was the X and a Z. I was the Z, right? But when we would go into a 3 wide receiver formation, Kevin, I'd go into the slot. And I would run, we'd have 75 plays a game, Kevin. Be 90 degrees, I'd run all 75 plays. Not because I was selfish, but I didn't want to come out of the game because I thought like maybe the next play would be a pass play I wanted to get. So for Anthony Richardson as the quarterback to be like, I'm tired, get a backup in here, that's one thing. But also number 2, I think they're being patient with him in the organization by not diming him out. Because when you talk about Josh Allen, it's a great, contrast of like, boy, this kid's ultra athletic. I think we might have a team that might be able to win a couple games. This kid's really not putting it together yet. But let's just say Josh Allen got there at 6 a.m. every morning, first one in, last one to leave as a rookie. Like, you know what? He's going to break through. I don't know. I'm not there. But they would not pull the cord on this kid. I understand how Joe Flacco performs and he throws for 300 yards. I get it. but your thought is rational. There's just something I believe we're not hearing about where he might be just in chalk talk in the offensive room, be like, the kid just doesn't see the floor. Because there's one thing, Kevin, not completing passes or making the easy ones. But what coaches, they can deal with that and say, you know what? Understandably, let's get you a little bit more confident in there. You're seeing things, you're just not completing it. But if they're getting into the meetings like, that's a cover 3 or that's a man too high, what do you see here? And he's going, oh, I thought it was a 0 blitz. Like, look, we can't have this. Like, we're not even running an offense at this point.
Listen, if they're almost doing a reverse, like, no, we're not giving up on him, but he's not ready to win now. And we're not, because, like, my thing is, and again, your tweet was like, cut bait, trade him, get rid of him. Like, I just think that that's bizarre, right? Like, this team drafting quarterback next year, Donnie, for me, I think would be a massive misstep. There's one aspect of Richardson, though, if there was one way to defend him, Donnie, right? Forever, right? Your whole football life and, almost all of mine. We evaluate quarterbacks' efficiency through completion percentage, right? We all know that, you want to complete, 65% of your passes, right? Ballpark it. Yards per pass attempt, though, tells a little bit of the story. Anthony Richardson ranks 32nd in completion percentage, obviously, but he's 17th in yards per pass attempt. I don't know. Does he only throw the ball 50 yards down the field? Like, that is one of the more interesting aspects, Donnie, where he is a average quarterback in terms of what he does every time he passes it, except he doesn't complete half of his passes, which is unheard of.
Unbelievable. Kevin stops by. Now he heads up to Costco. Burgers, fries. What's next on Kevin's platter tonight? I'll meet you next, too, in just a few moments. I'll close it down next right here on Moneyline.
SportsGrid is committed to bringing you sports gaming strategies and information 24/7.
We're not doing this for our health.
This is our job.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. SportsGrid Radio presents Legends of the Fall.
Game 3 of the 2011 World Series. Cards first baseman Albert Pujols becomes only the 3rd player to hit 3 home runs in the Fall Classic.
And he hits me, and here goes one into left. How about 3 on the night in a row? A 3-run shot, a 2-run home run, and now a solo blast.
For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
SportsGrid TV and radio networks are the premier streaming video and audio channels dedicated to serving the sports wagering audience. Found on major smart TV platforms and streaming on SportsGrid Radio and SiriusXM Channel 159. SportsGrid's real-time data, expert commentary, and entertaining analysis transform viewers into informed sports enthusiasts. Our weekday radio lineup begins with the early line at 8 a.m. Eastern with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Donnie joins Kevin Walsh on Moneyline at 11 a.m. Eastern, followed by Football Full Circle at noon Eastern. Kaplan and crew join the party at 1 p.m. Eastern, and Pharrell Coast to Coast keeps things rolling from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern. Get in the mix with Kevin Walsh and Game Time Decisions at 6 p.m. Eastern. Evenings simmer with Carver and Lisi, then boils over with Gabe Moritzi on Sports Rage Late Night at 10 p.m. Eastern. To find out where to find SportsGrid that's best for you, go to sportsgrid.com. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Football Full Circle.
The Jets are done. They're 2-6. The Patriots are 2-6. I know it has not been worth the investment in Aaron Rodgers. It is just incredible to see how bad a mismanaged franchise can be when a 40-year-old quarterback who cares more about ayahuasca than football calls all the shots.
It's Football Full Circle with Ben Stevens and Joe Lisi. Weekdays noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network.
We're here 7 days a week,
giving you the actionable insights and expert perspectives you need to win.
And here's more good news.
It's free.
So stay tuned and get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Game 5, baby, tonight from the Bronx. Let's hit that. By the way, updates here. The Jets have placed kicker Greg Zuerlein on IR. I should have cut the guy. The guy cost him multiple games, but a kicking change could that spur the Jets? I'm telling you right now. Jets are beating the Texans tomorrow night. You heard it here first. Your boy DRS been talking about it all week. The Jets will beat the Texans on Thursday Night Football. Now, on Twitter also, Jersey P, which is at PixQ, says, I'm from North Bergen, New Jersey, which, again, right in my wheelhouse at William Patterson in the late 90s. We threw eggs, but the cops would be walking around, and if you had eggs, they would smash them in your pocket or backpacks. Grocery stores stopped selling eggs to us as well. They did that as well when I was in my teenage years. You had to have a parent buy eggs around Thanksgiving, around Halloween, because yes, we would buy up all the eggs in the store there. So yes, we do have all of those stories out there. Kids just don't know what they have today. And by the way, I'm glad, because I don't feel like cleaning my car, even though I keep it in the garage. But if it was out, like if I'm up at the studio like tomorrow night and it was mischief night and I got egged, I'd be upset about that. But as a kid, you don't think about that stuff. But that's neither here nor there. Let's focus tonight on the World Series game and what makes sense. Had a great night last night, looking to press it down again. Let me just check FanDuel quickly here to see if we have an odds boost tonight. Yesterday was only, and again, 365 just continues to hammer us. The Sports Equinox night, you had a 50% boost in all sports. It was absolutely fantastic. So let me just go front page, see what we have here. Same game parlays for tomorrow. I don't see anything up on FanDuel for baseball today, unless I already hit it here. Let me see. I got a boost for NBA. NBA double-double market. Okay, got that. No sweat token. That's for the Jets. 30% profit boot on the Jets. So I don't see anything there, but we do have a 50% on Bet365, which I will be involved in. If we're looking at the game tonight, last 30 days, Garrett Cole's been fantastic. You saw him in game number 1. He was electric. So really from a fade perspective, I don't think I'm fading Garrett Cole tonight. 65 degrees in the Bronx, wind blowing out to left field around 6 miles an hour. You do have a very good Dodgers lineup, which has hit right-handed pitching extremely well over the past month and, quite frankly, over the year. Shohei Ohtani's up there. Mookie Betts is absolutely off the charts. Max Muncy with great numbers. Kike Hernandez with great numbers over the past 30 days. Freddie Freeman's got decent numbers. Could they hit tonight? Absolutely. I'm not taking it away from them. It's just not the way I'm going to operate tonight. So if we flip it over to Flaherty, which is the guy we're going to be going after, on the season, had a decent season. But against right-handed batters on the season, 344 batters he faced, a 220 ISO and a weighted on-base percentage of 325. The ISO power is elevated. The weighted on-base percentage is average. Let's flip it over to the last 30 days. Against right-handed pitching, a 302 ISO, not good. Weighted on-base percentage, 358. They're both elevated. Now, also over the past 30 days, which on the season, Flaherty's had some very good statistics against left-handed batters. He's got a 340 weighted on-base percentage against those same lefties. So the way I want to approach tonight is from the right-hand side. And I've been doing it the past couple nights and it's been working out, or at least, my direction. You're taking that really depressed team total number. Like last night I had one on the Yankees at 3.5. They scored 11. I had one on the Dodgers last night at 2.5. They scored 4 runs. So I'm going to probably try to incorporate from a Yankee side of things to hit their low team total number, whether it's 2.5 or 3.5, to see if it makes some sense. The 3 batters, guys, that I'm looking forward to tonight, and a lot of these times on these parlays, we're taking it down to the 1 markets, right? The 1+ markets, which is 1 hit, 1 run, and or 1 RBI. And if you're new listening, like, they have to get all 3 of those. No, they just have to get 1. If you get a base hit, that hits it. If the guys on runners on third base with 1 out and you ground out to second base and the run scores, you get the RBI, that cashes it. If you walk in the 3rd inning and the next guy hits a 2-run home run, you cash that ticket because it's a run. The 3 batters I'm keying up tonight on the Yankees, Gleyber Torres, Aaron Judge, and Giancarlo Stanton. Will I be putting all 3 of those guys in that same game parlay? I'm not so sure of that yet. But those are the 3 guys I want to eye up and take some time to think about it, because I think they have really good chances to hit Flaherty tonight. The total in the game opened up at 8, now sits at 8.5. I don't really know if I'm going to have a wager on that side of things, because it is an all-hands-on-deck game. The Dodgers sort of messed around last night and didn't throw too many great guys in the bullpen, which is kind of an odd scenario when you're trying to win a World Series. But tonight, you probably think a better effort is going to take place. But even yesterday, Luis Seal pitches 4 innings, he's up 4 earned runs. That's usually a loss. But Anthony Volpe's grand slam to sort of put that game away early, and then the 5-run 8th inning, which is great, because on FanDuel, I had the 30% boost. That was Gleyber Torres, didn't have a base hit. Boom, home run. Then the very next batter is Juan Soto, doubles down the line. Boom, cashes that ticket because I had the over 3.5 team total for the Yankees associated with that. So once again, Gleyber Torres, Aaron Judge, and Giancarlo Stanton, the 3 batters I'm looking at. Follow me at RightSideVP on Twitter/X. When I have that ticket ready to go, I'll post it, we'll root it on, and we'll try to win more money tonight. I want to thank you guys for tuning in and listening to a Mischief Day edition of Moneyline. For JP behind the wheels of steel, your boy Donnie Rightside. Tomorrow's Thursday and Halloween. Enjoy your night, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Just to clarify, we're not saying the winning edge will help you win the lottery.
But if it ever does, aren't you glad?